Blackhawk goalie Eddie Belfour grabbed the NHL Player of the Week honors, going 3-0 during a streak with a 1.33 goals against average. He and the fourth-place Blackhawks faced the desperate Winnipeg Jets, who are in a three-way logjam for the final spot in the West. Let's take you out to the United Center. First period, no score. Dennis Savard will find Joe Murphy, but Joe Murphy can't get it in there. Hobby Bullen is there with the huge save. At the other end, Alexei Zhamnov gets away from Brent Sutter. He shoots. It's off both posts right there. Eddie Belfour with the dive and the save. Still in the first, Keith Tkachuk undresses the Hawks defense and gets the shot off, but Belfour is there for the stop. Hawks on the defense. Zhamnov skates away into the zone, but he scores. Gets it in there. 1-0 Winnipeg. But the Hawks do come right back. The puck chipped away to Jim Cummings, and Cummings on the breakaway. The little wrister right there. We're knotted at 1-0 at the end of one, so we go on to the second period. The Hawks are applying pressure. Chris Chelios, the shot is turned away and heads back down the ice. Chris King centers it to Zhamnov. And then Daryl Shannon with the follow-up, his fifth of the year. Jets go up 2-0. But you know what? You can't count out the Hawks. Here, Jeff Shantz with the swipe, and Shantz, the one-timer right there, and it goes in, and we're knotted at 2-all. So we go to the third period, where Murray Craven with the puck, and Craven, he does it by himself. Could not have done it better, getting his 800th career goal as the Hawks win it 3-2, and they continue on that winning streak. They have now won 4 straight since snapping their 13-game winless streak. The Hawks move 3 points ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs in an effort to clinch 4th place in the Western Conference and home ice in the first-round playoff.
In fact, the game tonight's just about the only one still going that means anything. The regular season finale, the Hawks and the L.A. Kings. The Hawks get home ice in the first round if they win. The Kings need to win this game just to get in. Chicago's trying to finish with 5 straight wins. First period, Bernie Nichols left it in traffic for Patrick Poulin. 1-0 Chicago. And a bit later on, Kings goaltender Grant Fuhr screened out when Eric Weinrich cuts it loose. Never saw that one. 2-0 Chicago. Marty McSorley, trying to get his teammates in the mood, took on the Hawks' Jim Cummins in a wild one. Hawks still lead 2-0 in the third. They haven't blown a third period lead all season long, so it's looking good for them. Toronto will be their first-round playoff opponent. The Maple Leafs playing at Anaheim tonight.
With the puck stopped by 3 defensemen, but Patrick Poulin is able to pick up the puck, put it in, beating Grant Fuhr. 1-0 Hawks. Hawks with another good chance here. Michel Petit gives up the puck. Dirk Graham shoots it wide, but Brent Sutter picks up the puck, can't put it in either. Still 1-0 end to one. Second period, defenseman Eric Weinrich from the blue line. Puck skips by Fuhr. He was blocked on the play. One more look. Weinrich on the far boards right here. His third goal of the season, and the Blackhawks had a 2-0 lead. Then a little physical stuff going on. Marty McSorley, the tough guy, and Jim Cummins, tough guy for the Hawks, going at it. Still second period. Tony Amonte's been watching old Gamefield, the teammate Dennis Savard. Amonte tries the old spinorama right there. Hawks one more great flurry before the end of the period. Jim Cummins shoots, then Sergei Krivokrasov. Then Cummins tries again on the rebound. Grant Fuhr, though, finally dives on it. Then in the third period, Dennis Savard from behind the net. Puck goes in off a defenseman's skate. 3-0 Hawks. Joe Murphy would then feed Gerald Diddick out front. 4-0 Hawks. Hawks wind up winning by a final of 5-1. Blackhawks clinch home ice advantage for the first round of the NHL playoffs while eliminating L.A. from possible postseason play. Could it be the last NHL game for Wayne Gretzky? Very familiar with Chicago and Toronto. If the recent past is any indication, don't expect many goals in this series, right?
No, it should be a low-scoring affair, but the Blackhawks are playing very well as of late, as is Toronto, believe it or not. They came off a road trip at the end and did very well, but offensively pretty even. Jeremy Roenick will not be in the lineup, so that should be a negative for the Blackhawks. Defensively, Blackhawks have the best defense, I think, in the league. Goalies solid. Potvin, Belfour, excellent series last year. Special teams, Blackhawks were first in the power play in the league. Coaching, indecisive. Intangibles, the Leafs have beat the Blackhawks in every series since 1938, but I'm still picking the Blackhawks in kind of an easy one, 4-1.
All right, Billy, thanks a lot.
Home TV for the Blackhawks playoff opener against Toronto. No Hawk Vision or free TV this year, and believe me, you didn't miss much tonight. To the United Center we go. All that effort to gain the home ice in this series. The Hawks have given it right back tonight. They fell behind early. That was Matt Sundin scoring in front. It was 1-0 after 1. Hawks rallied, though. That's Patrick Poulin to make it 1-1. Then again in the second period, they take the lead. But falling behind right there, DiPietro scores to make it 2-2. The Leafs had a goal disallowed in this stretch, too, and finally gave up the lead. It was Mike Gartner who scored it here in the third. 3 unanswered goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they go on to burn the Blackhawks in the series playoff opener here by a final score of 5-3. It may have been the last hockey game of the year here in Chicago. No lack of effort or chances from the Blackhawks tonight, but they could not get one past Felix Potvin, and the Blackhawks are headed for another first-round knockout. They came out hitting tonight. Matt Sundin scored twice the other night. Welcome back to the United Center. But for all the banging and the bluster, they couldn't get the biscuit past Potvin. 42 saves, 2 on Chris Chelios right there. Then 10 seconds left in the second. Jeff Shantz had it taken off a stick by Mike Ridley. Shot it through Belfour for the first goal of the game, and that ruined him, I think. A dumb penalty led to Toronto's second goal. Who else but Sundin walking right down Madison Street there. An empty netter at the end makes it 3-0. The Hawks in dire straits, down 2-0 in the series. They'll get a few more with some hard work, and they're on the board in this series against Toronto. They had to have this game, and they got it on the road. They were down 1-0 in the first period, looking for their first power play goal of the series, and they got it from Gary Suter. One-timer, 1-1. Then in the second period, it's Suter again. He cranks it up from the point, blows it past Felix Potvin. 2-1 Chicago, their first lead in this series. Early in the third, they catch a bad break. Joe Murphy sent off for the night for a high stick, 5-minute power play. But the Hawks were able to survive thanks to Ed Belfour. Every bit as good as Potvin was in Game 2. 33 saves for the Eagle tonight. Then a shorthanded insurance goal from Chris Chelios later on proved to be the difference in this game. Hawks won it 3-2. The pressure now on the Leafs with Game 4 coming up Saturday. The other hockey...
So Maple Leafs are tied at 2 apiece. The Toronto Maple Leafs have stumbled after going up 2-0. Matt Sundin has 4 goals and 5 points, and Felix Potvin has 4 shutouts in the last 10 playoff games versus Chicago, who have come back strong in the last 2 games, winning up at Maple Leaf Gardens. That is Chris Chelios. The road team in this series has won each game. Gary Suter has 2 goals in the playoffs. This one should be a good game tonight at the UC. The series, no home team had won a game going into Game 5, tied at 2 apiece. The Blackhawks had the momentum after winning the last 2 games in Maple Leaf Gardens. So far, Felix Potvin and Eddie Belfour have been the stars of this series. Let's pick it up second period. Hawks up 1-0. Chris Chelios clears the puck ahead to a streaking Tony Amante, and Amante beating the Cats stick side there, 2-0 Chicago. But the Leafs battle back. Bill Berg tries a wraparound here. Eddie is there, but Matt Sundin there with the backhander to cut that lead to 1. Then in the third period, Toronto on the power play. Doug Gilmour shoots. Dave Andrechuk is there for the putback. We're tied at 2-2 at this point. Then at the 5:30 mark, Bernie Nichols. Bernie Nichols moving in toward the net, and Joe Murphy tips it in. Chicago goes back on top 3-2, but the Hawks then add some insurance. Gary Suter ahead to Murray Craven. Craven records his 2nd goal of the night. The final, the Blackhawks win their 3rd straight over Toronto. 4-2 is the final as the Blackhawks go up 3-2 in this series. The Blackhawks outshot the Leafs in every period. It was only the 3rd time in 11 games that the Hawks score more than 3 goals against Toronto in the playoffs. Game 6 Wednesday in Toronto.
Good. Canucks and Hawks at Game 1 highlight. Chicago. We're into the United Center for Game 1 of the Western Semis. Controversy-filled Sunday night action. Plenty of seats in the back, boys. First period, Gary Suter's shot beats Kirk McLean, but the referee, Dan Marawelli, says no goal. How come? Joe Murphy, he hit Kirk McLean. He hit him real hard. 0-0 after 1. Now here's another controversy. 2-on-1 for the Canucks. Bure to Linden. Belfour denies him. That's a goal. Well, how come? Take another look. It crossed the goal line. Right in there. 1-0 Canucks. Third period, Tony Amante, Dennis Savard beats Kirk McLean. We're tied at 1, and we're going to overtime. The Blackhawks, Savard to Joe Murphy. He beats Kirk McLean for a power play overtime sayonara game-winning goal. The Hawks win 2-1. Chicago won the regular season series against Vancouver 4-love, and Vancouver, coincidentally, was 0 for 4 on the power play. Coincidence? I think not. Joe Murphy has now scored in 5 straight games as the Blackhawks win the opener at home. Dan?
Their best of 7. Both teams are coming off of tough first series matchups that did go the distance. We pick it up first period. Joe Murphy sends it in on net. Kirk McLean plays it right here, and Murphy with the swipe, and he tries to wrap around, but McLean is there to stop him. Hawks didn't get a break in this one. Gary Suter tees it up from the blue line, and it looks like he scores, but Dan Mararelli says, let's check with the eye in the sky, and they called Murphy goaltender interference there, so Darryl Sutter and his team cannot get a break. So Kirk McLean playing well this season, and the postseason. Eric Weinrich fires one, but McLean is there with the glove save for the Hawks. Give up another odd man advantage here. Pavel Bure shoots, and Belfort the save. Bure there with the rebound. Trevor Linden, well, he scores, did he? Well, they go to the replay, and they say, yes, he did. 1-0 Vancouver, third period. The Hawks tied up. Tony Amane to Denis Savard. We're knotted at 1-1, and the Hawks with a chance to win it here in regulation. But Bernie Nichols hits the post right there. So we head into the extra period where the Hawks on the P-square. Savard to Bernie to Joe Murphy, and that's all she wrote as the Hawks win game 1 in overtime as Joe Murphy scores his 6th playoff goal of the playoffs. The Blackhawks are 1-1 in overtime games during the postseason. Eddie Belfour made 26 saves for the Blackhawks, who will host the Canucks in game 2 Tuesday night. Belfour stopped 24 shots in regulation and 12 in the first period. Now, after the game, the Blackhawks sounded like they wanted to keep this win in perspective.
It's one win, and it could have went either way, and I'm not being dishonest or trying to stay neutral or anything. It could have went either way. They had just as many good opportunities as we had. They had a power play in overtime that would never have, if they score, we never get to our power play. Well, Murph was our most productive player in terms of creating opportunities, that's for sure. The first period, he took the puck to the net hard, and he went to the net on a goal that was disallowed, and I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I bet he had 5 or 6 scoring opportunities. So, hey, we just as easily could be standing here talking about a 2-1 overtime loss, and I know exactly what question you'd be asking. So, it doesn't make no damn difference now at all. We're up 1, and there's another game in 48 hours.
We know that we can't get ourselves in a hole like we did against Toronto. I mean, Vancouver's a team that's been in the Stanley Cup Finals. They got a lot of experience and some great players, and we have to play our best hockey to beat them. And we didn't play our best hockey tonight. We know we have to play better.
Reaction when it went in?
Oh, definitely pumped. I mean, very excited to get the goal and to get that win and get up 1-0. I mean, it's a big win for our team, and you know, we got a lot of work ahead of us, but definitely happy we got the first game.
We played the first period tonight like we played the first period against Toronto, and it was a pretty disappointing effort. And certainly Darryl didn't want to see us come out with the same second period as we did against Toronto in game 1. It was something that we had to change real quick if we were going to have any success. And you know, we didn't capitalize when we got opportunities, but certainly I think we shut them down for the most part for the second 2 periods. Eddie's played so well all the way along, and once again tonight held it together for us, and you know, allowed us the opportunity of overtime and getting a break, and you know, and taking game 1.